All right. The Ravens going for the record 43rd straight game with 100-plus rushing yards. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah, so if people didn't, I'm going to give John Harbaugh a thumbs up on this. If people don't know, it's because there's a record no one was talking about, but no team had done this since the Steelers in the 70s, rushed for 100 yards in this many consecutive games. They were 3 yards short. You see the time score situation, they can take a knee instead. Nope, we're going to go get our 5 yards. Here's why I'm giving it a thumbs up. I'm giving it a thumbs up for the disrespect it shows to the Broncos. Not disrespect like, oh, you're not going to stop us, but disrespect in this regard. They have no fear of playing them again. Joy, I do not believe they do this to the Browns, the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, any team they might have to play again in the postseason. But I think they look at the Broncos and they say 3-0 Shmee-0. You beat the Jets, the Giants, and the Jags. You're not very good. We're never going to have to play you again. So they, the herd hierarchy, which has the Broncos fourth, they say we don't care about that either. We're not going to. You can be as mad as you want, Denver, but we're not going to play you until next season. So just deal with it. So I give Harbaugh a thumbs up on this because of the disrespect it shows to who he thinks the Broncos actually are.
That's some in-depth petty investigation, because I'm with you. I tried to tell Colin he's way too high on the Broncos. They haven't beaten anybody, and this was the game to determine if they were for real. So I think you're right, because they're not going to do that to someone that's going to be like, wait a minute.
No chance. Especially because if you remember last year, Joy, the Titans stomped on the Ravens logo during the regular season. Remember? But that was a dumb move by the Titans because they were going to have to see the Ravens again.
Yeah.
And in fact, they did in the postseason. Didn't go well for them. The Ravens are like, when do we play Denver again? 2023? All right, no problem. We're not seeing you in the playoffs because you ain't going to be in the playoffs. All right, what's the next one?
All right, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers taking down Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers.
All right, Joy, let's talk about this. We got to give a thumbs down, and it's to Big Ben. Joy, I audibly gasped when Big Ben connected on that deep pass to Deontay Johnson. I was like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. And then there was a lot of this. The Big Ben lowlights this year are almost in SFW. It's almost like, oh my God, close the browser. The boss is coming by. What are you watching? Big Ben falling down. Big Ben again on a 4th down with the game on the line, throwing it short of the sticks. It's 4th down. This is a sad one, man. This is worse than Willie Mays in the outfield. Like, you are watching a guy who, and I never try to tell guys to play as long as you can, make all the money you want, you enjoy it, I get it. But they are an incapable offense. And so much of it surrounds what he can't do, Joy.
No one from Pittsburgh listens to me when I talk about the Steelers. No one from Miami wants to hear what I have to say about the Dolphins. But I'm just over here right all the time. I've said it for years now that Super Bowl window was closing and they needed to be more aggressive. They cannot run the ball. Forget the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is looking completely incapable, as you said. They can't run the ball. You can't win in the AFC North not running the ball. It's impossible. Zach Wilson's first career win over the Titans in overtime. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, I'm going to big thumbs up to Zach Wilson and big thumbs up for the Jets for understanding. Listen, I talked about this with Mac Jones and the Patriots. If you only ever feed your kid off the kids menu, chicken fingers, mac and cheese, butter pasta, every meal for all of childhood into their teens, they're going to end up being the guy that is on a date with Joy Taylor. It's like, can I have the chicken fingers? And Joy's like, we're at a French bistro. It's like, yeah, do you have honey mustard? I would like the chicken fingers. And guess what, fella? You're not getting a second date.
No,
you're like, oh, you can't eat like an adult. You're not. Like, it's like, oh, but I love them. They're delicious. Yeah, you got to grow up. So sometimes that means you have your kid try the pasta fagioli, and then he's like, I don't like it. But you're developing his palate. Zach Wilson, they let him order off the adult menu. They're like, hey, you might throw up after the meal, but we're going to deal with it. And what do you know? Game 4, dropping dimes. Just dropping dimes on the Titans. Now, I could also give a thumbs down to the Titans defense because, yuck. I know the Titans were without Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, and that defense was miserable. But I give credit to the Jets. He's going to have a bad game again soon, probably a bunch of them. but you saw the development. You saw it's like, oh, those are the traits that we drafted him for, and all of a sudden you get a win. So I give him a big thumbs up, and I give the Jets a thumbs up for not dumbing down the game plan and understanding we're going to take some L's for a greater purpose of trying to grow into something.
I couldn't agree more. You just want to see a little development. Don't have too many expectations for year one, but just a little bit of growth is what you're looking for. I thought that was a big win for the Jets and for Zach Wilson.
Correct.
So the Giants taking down the
100%.
Saints in extra time in the Superdome.
I have to go thumbs down, and it's to Sean Payton. If you watch this game closely, and those of us that had the Saints in a teaser, we did, all you got to do is win, Saints. Survivor pool, teaser, just win. You're at home for the first time all year. You're playing the Giants. Can you win the game? No, you can't. Why can't you? Well, it started with Sean Payton like, hey, 58-yard field goal. Let's try that. Why? It's 0-0 early. You have 4th and short. It's 4th and 3 from the 40. You have plenty of options. None of them should be that. You give the Giants a short field, Daniel Jones touchdown. Then, later in the game, Taysom Hill has come in and done exactly what Taysom Hill's supposed to do. Be a fullback. Boom, boom, touchdown runs. That's awesome. Good for you, Taysom. Not this! What are you doing? You're playing the Giants! Don't give him extra. What are you doing, Sean Payton? Just call him Taysom Hill like the old game we played as kids. 500. 500. Throw it up in the air. See who comes down with it. It's terrible. It's just terrible. What are you doing? Now, am I extra bitter because this cost me untold dollars? Yes, I am. Did it knock me out of a couple survivor pools? It did. Did it make my Giants are the worst team in football take a little shaky? It did. But also, listen, you don't have games to give away, New Orleans. You're going to be in a dogfight if you're lucky for the final wild card spot. You can't lose home games to the Giants. And you can't be kicking 58-yard field goals and calling Taysom Hill bombs, Joy. You can't. Thumbs down, Sean Payton. Bad job by you.
I mean, I think the Saints at this point are starting to become what I thought they were, which is a team that's not in a rebuild, but in a reboot. And we probably overreacted a little bit to their wins. And we're starting to see what, they kind of are overall. So, Kyler Murray's divisional win against Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
Huge thumbs up for Kyler. He's the MVP right now. Hey, listen, I know what you're thinking. Nick, will you please give Patrick Mahomes and his 15 touchdowns some credit? I know. I would love to. However, they have a couple of losses. He does have 4 interceptions. So I know you guys are always like, Nick, you're always overlooking Mahomes. Isn't he top 2 in the NFL in touchdowns, yards, passer rating? He is all those things. However, 4-0, where I screwed up, I think, Joy, was I held that Vikings game against Arizona too much because they should have lost it. Greg Joseph has that chip shot field goal to beat them. And so I held that against them. Then against the Jags, it's kind of shaky. They allow that kick return touchdown because Cliff Kingsbury's like, let's try a 68-yarder for no reason whatsoever. And it made me miss the obvious. This team scores 30 points every week. They have 4 receivers that can kill you. And Kyler does make some mistakes, but you can deal with mistakes if he also makes these wildly explosive plays. I did not think anyone all year would go to Los Angeles and beat the Rams down. I didn't think they'd go undefeated at home, but to beat them down that way, and by the way, that's their toughest game on their schedule probably. At the Rams, it's probably the toughest one on their schedule, and they won it resoundingly. Huge thumbs up to Kyler. That offense as a whole, he's right now the league MVP.
Yeah, and as Jimmy mentioned earlier, their defense is playing great as well. So they are really a complete team that can beat you on both sides of the ball. Yep. Bills and Chiefs rolling before their AFC Championship rematch next week.
Yeah, I'm giving thumbs up to Patrick Mahomes and a thumbs up to the Bills defense, which has quietly been the best in football this year. Like, that's been my issues with the Bills are, one is Josh Allen, I don't believe he's going to be able to duplicate what he did last year. And by the way, through 4 weeks, I'm right. He's had 1 really good game, 1 decent game, and 2 awful games. But it hasn't mattered because the defense has been phenomenal. 2 shutouts in the last 3 weeks. They've outscored their opponents 118-21 over the last 3 weeks of football. That's like some Alabama type stuff, not an NFL team. And now And then you have the Chiefs, who never punted yesterday, but also never forced a punt. Mahomes was sensational, made one mistake, made one mistake the entire game, but the offense moved the ball at will. And now we get the game of the year in the AFC. If the Chiefs win Sunday, Joy, then everyone, most notably Colin Cowherd, but there are others, it really looks silly for doubting Mahomes and the Chiefs. If they lose, however, then it's like, okay, what's the argument that Buffalo isn't the best team in the conference, right? If Buffalo, who's played the best football of anyone the last 3 weeks,
right?
If they go to Arrowhead and win, then you've got to say, okay, they have a better defense than Kansas City. Their offense is super explosive. They went to Arrowhead and won something Josh Allen obviously has never beaten Mahomes. He's just gotten trounced by him. So it's the game of the year in the AFC up to this point. What are you laughing at?
Are you going to say that? Are you going to say that the Bills are the best team in the AFC if they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead?
If they go to Arrowhead and win, yeah. I'll say it. But I'll also say, I can fly if I sprout wings during the show. It's not going to happen. Josh Allen beating Mahomes, please. Nobody actually thinks that's going to happen. But it is interesting. And I would say some early bulletin board material for Kansas City. Did you see the line?
I did not.
KC, only a 3-point favorite at home. That means Vegas is saying Chiefs and the Bills, they're the same. Oh, put
Nick,
that on
that
the what?
is not bulletin board material.
Oh, it is.
No, it is not.
They're favored by less than a touchdown at home. The disrespect.
Oh, my God. What are you talking about?
Only laying 3 points. Oh, it's bulletin board material. I already texted it to multiple members of the team. Did you see this disrespect? Only -3, not even 3.5.
It's not
Don't even give it the hook.
disrespectful.
All right. It's major disrespect. That's thumbs up, thumbs down. We give a thumbs up to Mahomes and a thumbs up to the Bills defense.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.